welcome to this week's reading vlog. The main plan for the start of this week is to finally finish off The Shadow Rising, which you can see in the background there. I'm so close to the end of this book now, I only have less than 200 pages left, so that has to be the main priority for me, to get through that beast of a book once and for all. I have been really enjoying it, it's just been very dragged out because I've been reading lots of other things at the same time. But that is priority number one for the week. I also was in the mood to try something a little bit lighter, a little bit different, and decided to pick up the third book in the Spellslinger series by Sebastian de Castell. Now, I don't actually own any of these books in person, so in physical copies, so my plan had been to get this from my library, but I've just been there on the way home from work and it's not there, they don't have a copy in. So I have just checked on Audible, as I have a couple of credits, and indeed it is there, and very exciting news, it's narrated by none other than the wonderful Joe Jameson, who is one of my favourite audiobook narrators. He narrated the entire Greatcoat series, also by Sebastian de Castell, which was the way I consumed that series for the first time and was really impressed. It was absolutely wonderful. He's also narrated, I believe it was Prince of Thorns by Mark Lawrence, which is another really good book, and again, really, really good narration. So I'm very excited to read Charmcaster, the third book in the Spellslinger series, to the dulcet tones of Joe Jameson, so that will also be on the list for this week. You can also see in the background there I have that turquoise book, which is The Eye of the Falcon by Michelle Paver, which is the third book in the Gods and Warriors middle grade series, which I've been working my way through. I've been lent that series by a friend to read on her recommendation, and so I'm now up to the third book and have got that one out ready to read this week too. It's very short, less than 300 pages I think, or around that mark, and being a middle grade, it's very quick to read. So I'm excited to dive back into that world too. So those three I think will be the plan for this week. I may get round to something else, I may not, it depends how much I'm able to read. I have a fairly busy week ahead of me, so that may well be it, but you never know, I might be able to pick something else up towards the end of the week, over the weekend maybe, although that is supposed to be pretty busy for me too. I literally never have a day off. Even my days off are filled with other things. I feel like I have so many things going on, but anyway, everyone's life's busy. It's not just me, I won't complain. So I will sit down and read some more of The Shadow Rising this evening, and then maybe actually start a little bit of Charmcaster as well, because I'm so excited to get into that one. I've really missed the characters and I'm really looking forward to the audiobook. So that's the plan for the week. I will check in with you again when I have some more reading progress to report. Hello, evening updates, and I have very, very good news to report. I have finally finished The Shadow Rising by Robert Jordan, the fourth Wheel of Time book. I'm so pleased to have finally got through this book. As you can see, it has been an absolute beast, about 1,000 pages long, and it's taken me so much longer than I normally would do to read a book like this. It should have been at least a week, you know, it's a chunky book, it's high fantasy, it would have taken me a very long time, but this has taken even more of a long time than I would have thought. I have been reading lots of other books at the same time, so it's kind of my own fault, but even so, I was really determined that it wouldn't take away from the enjoyment of this book, and I'm pleased to report that I did actually really enjoy this book in the end. I've been saying for the last couple of books, particularly the third one actually in this series, that I really wanted a little bit more action to happen, a bit more character development. You know, it felt very static in the last book, that apart from the event at the end, which obviously is the climax of the book, that the majority of it was just following characters doing the same things they've always done, going on lots of journeys, but not really actually anything happening at the end of them. Whereas this one, we have had a couple of much more major events happening. We've had a couple of big changes actually of characters within the book and relationships between characters, some of which I really liked, some of which less so. But overall, I really enjoyed this one. Another solid 4-star, as most of this series has been for me, and I'm very pleased to have finally got through this. So, moving on, I will be next hoping to pick up something a little bit different. I think I might go to The Eye of the Falcon, the middle grade that I wanted to read, potentially also Charmcaster, I don't know. They're my two that are kind of on the cards for this week. So I'll pick up one or the other, or maybe both of those, but fingers crossed we can get some more good reading done this week. Hello! It has been a few days since my last update, and I'm annoyed to report that I'm feeling really slumpy this week. I'm just not being productive with my reading at all. Ever since I finished The Shadow Rising, which I don't attribute to my slump, by the way, it was a very good book. I was very glad to finally finish it, and I was all excited to pick up lots of new books in the next few days, but I've had a really busy few days at work. I've had lots of things going on, and I just haven't been able to commit the time or energy to reading, which I'm really annoyed about. But it is now Friday evening. It has been at least 3 days, 3.5 days since I read anything at all, and I'm not actually probably going to get much reading done this weekend either. I have a day out with a friend tomorrow, meeting up for a walk and a little look around. I think we're going to one of the National Trust properties between where the two of us live. We're quite a way apart, so somewhere like that we can go and have a nice day outdoors, and it's just a good place to catch up. But most of tomorrow will of course be catching up with my friend and not reading. Tomorrow evening I have family plans, and then Sunday I'm at work again, so a whole week pretty much will have gone by and I will have read absolutely nothing. So I've made the decision to carry over this vlog and combine it with next week, and then at least you will get a decent amount of content and hopefully some more reading updates between now and the end of next week. So this evening I've decided I'm going to do a little bit of reading. I am going to pick up, I think, a middle grade book just to get myself back in the swing of reading, feel like I'm making some actual progress, even though it's a much quicker book, so obviously I will get through it faster than I would a normal one of my reads. So I'm going to pick up the third book in the Gods and Warriors series by Michelle Paver. This one is called The Eye of the Falcon, and it follows our main characters after a little bit of time has elapsed from the second book, and they're in a very different scenario to where we left them last. So I'm excited to see how things pick up in this one as the characters start to get a little older. I believe we do have a new animal companion as well, which I'm very excited to meet and see a little bit more development of. So it's a fun series. It's nothing particularly exciting, as I've said before, but I'm enjoying working my way through it, and I think it could be just the thing to get me back into reading after a few days of feeling very slumpy. I'm currently out on a little bit of a walk, as you can see, one of my favourite countryside wanders, just hiding among the trees, and it's a lovely bit of peace and quiet. After such a busy week, I just needed a little bit of an escape. So currently having a walk, and then we'll go home and hopefully read a little bit of The Eye of the Falcon tonight, and hopefully I will finally be back on Monday and have a little bit more reading update to finally give you. I will try and film a bit over the weekend, probably just some B-roll, so you can see that I have actually got a life. I'm not just at work all of the time, but who knows what I will manage to film. But hopefully we'll check back in with you soon, and I hope you don't mind me combining 2 weeks into one. There was no point me having the previous footage as a vlog on its own. It was very, very short and not particularly interesting for anyone, so this seems to be the best way to do it. But it does mean that I'm missing out on a video. But I think towards the end of the month I will probably have an extra video in there somewhere anyway, because I want to do my September TBR as a separate video this month, as I am participating in a couple of readathons, so I feel like that will make an interesting video on its own. So stay tuned for all of that, but for now let's enjoy the walk and a little bit more reading. Standard car update, but for once it's actually in a morning before work rather than after I finished my day. I ended up waking up far earlier than I would have liked to and could not get back to sleep, so I have finished off this morning reading The Eye of the Falcon by Michelle Paver. This is the third book in the Gods and Warriors series, a middle grade series that I've been working my way through, set in very ancient Greece and the surrounding islands.
It's a lovely series. It's very cute. It's nothing particularly groundbreaking, as I've said before. I've been working my way through, 3rd book out of 5 completed now, and I enjoyed the story just as I've enjoyed the others. It's a little different, this one, in the fact that the characters have been apart for some time and are not really sure what's happened to each other. You can also really tell that the dynamic when they do come back together is slightly different from the fact that they're at that very awkward age where they're starting to become more adult in their thinking, and they're not just interacting on the surface as children like you get in the earliest books. So there's that little change of development and character growth, which you would definitely expect to see. Also based on the experiences they've gone through, they do view each other slightly differently now, and with the environment that they're in being very familiar to one and very new to the other, it does add a few different changes in dynamic to the story. So I enjoyed it. It was the same sort of format of plot, the same antagonist characters by and large in there, and we have yet another animal companion that has joined the fold. We have a falcon in this one, as you might infer from the name, who I really like as a character. It's a really lovely animal companion to have, and really suits Pyrrha, the girl character, who she becomes associated with. So a lovely addition to the story. As with the others, I'm giving this 3 out of 5 stars. It's a very solid middle grade. It's not absolutely groundbreaking for me. I never give middle grades 5 stars anyway, so 3 is a lot better. 3 is essentially 4 for middle grades. So it's a good rating, and it's a good series. I will definitely complete it. I have 2 more books in this series to read, which I will probably get through over the next month or 2, so I can finally return the series to my friend who has lent it to me. But yeah, another solid read. Nice and quick one as well, over in a couple of days this week, so I've plenty of time left to read the rest of the things that I want to. So my next book I'm going to pick up, I've actually had a slight change. So I was going to read Charmcaster, the audiobook. I did read about half an hour of that last night while I was tidying my room up, but I'm not really feeling like sitting down and listening to a book, and I'm not going to be able to go out and have a walk or anything because the weather is not very nice today. So I'm thinking I'm going to pick up The Last Protector by Andrew Taylor. This is a book that I actually hauled a couple of months ago in one of my earliest vlogs. It's a historical fiction, very crime-based story, the 4th in a series now, following 2 main protagonists, James Marwood and Cat Lovett. And these are characters in 1660s London. So in the first book initially was surrounding the Great Fire of London and the events of that, but we've moved a lot on in the story right now. And at the moment we are, in this book, following, I think, some of the politics around the aftermath of Oliver Cromwell, the English Civil War and all of that. And I think Cromwell's son is coming back into the country in secret, and we have to follow a plot around the politics of him trying to stay undercover and probably failing miserably at it, and the revolutionary tendencies of some of the characters. I don't know exactly what's going to happen in the story beyond that, but it should be a good one. I always enjoy these stories. I love the way they're written. They're quite fast-paced for the type of historical crime genre that they fit into. I like this little sub-genre of crime. I'm a big fan of the Shardlake series by C.J. Sansom. I also really like the Giordano Bruno series by S.J. Paris. It's that same kind of subsection of crime, so I'm looking forward to getting back to reading more about Cat and Marwood and seeing what happens in this particular story. So I think that one will be the one I will pick up this evening. I might try and read, I don't know how much I'll get to read. I'm going to say I'll try and read 50 pages. I'm not thinking tonight will be a big reading night, but you never know. I might find that I'm productive, but I do have a lot to get done at home tonight, errands-wise, so we will see. But a good 50-page start of that one would be decent. And then perhaps we'll get back to Charmcaster a little later in the week. I definitely do want to read that one. I just want to optimise the opportunity for it being an audiobook format. So either when I'm on a journey or when I'm on a walk, tends to be when I listen to audiobooks. I don't really listen to them in the house. But I am excited to get back to that one too. Oh, the sun's just come out. Oh, you never know, I might get a walk in after all. Anyway, I am going to shut up and go to work now because I don't want to end up being late, and I will check in with you again a little later on when I have some more reading progress to report.
So Ralph McInerney, some 20 years ago, he created a series of cassette tapes with a preposterously friendly title.
Hello, so I have come out on a short evening walk and decided to listen to a little bit of Charmcaster while I'm out. It's a very good excuse. As I said earlier, I don't tend to listen to audiobooks in the house very much, but it was drier than expected, although very grey and gloomy between the rain showers, so I have decided to come out for a little bit of a stroll, get some fresh air and listen to this book. As I've said, I'm really enjoying what I've heard so far. I've only been out for about half an hour, so I've read just a couple of chapters, I think, I'm not sure, but I'm listening on 1.75 speed, so I will get through this book pretty quickly. I would think probably in about 6 or 7 hours. Not going to get through all of it tonight, of course, but it shouldn't take too much longer out of my week, so I might actually get it finished this week, who knows. Anyway, so I'm really enjoying it so far. Obviously I expected to love it, being Jo Jameson, one of my favourite audiobook narrators, as I said earlier in this vlog, but it's so lovely to be back with these familiar characters, to be back in a world with a really interesting magic system and just such fun writing style and a lovely way of telling a story. I really am impressed with Sebastian de Castell. I absolutely loved the Greatcoat series, and this Spellslinger series, although it's a little bit more simplistic and a little bit more childish, for want of a better word, it is very much YA rather than adult, but still just as enjoyable, and I'm really having a good time with it so far. I love the relationship between the characters. I love how funny it is, actually. It's a really humorous conversation. It's all basically conversation between the characters. There's an awful lot of banter. There's lots of... Sorry, I'm just... I thought there was someone behind me. There's not. There's a lot of banter and a lot of like witty conversation between the characters, and it's just really good fun. I still am absolutely in love with Farius. I want to be this character. She is incredible, and I'm so excited actually to get through this series and get on to reading The Way of the Argosy, which I know is her book and her origin story. I feel like that will be the absolute best in the series, but quite a long way to go so far, so I will carry on with my walk before it rains, read a little bit more of Charmcaster, and then catch up with you later in the week and let you know my thoughts once I've read a little bit more. So I'm still not very far into this book, but I'm absolutely loving it. I had to just let you know, I'm literally giggling the entire way along my walk. It's so good. I don't know if it's just because I'm listening to it as an audiobook or if it's just that this one is even funnier than the rest, but I'm genuinely laughing at a lot of what I'm reading. I absolutely love it. It's really fun. Also, I love how genuine the characters are in this. So our main character, Kellen, is not the heroic character that you would expect somebody like this to be, a protagonist of a YA book with magic. He's absolutely not a hero at all. He's in fact quite useless in fights and fully accepts that he is. And it's all the more amusing and gratifying for that because it feels so real. So I'm really enjoying this and I hope to read quite a bit more this evening. I might actually even break my usual rule and read some more when I get home. Maybe I'll do some sort of mindless sitting down task that I can carry on listening. Who knows? But anyway, all good so far. I've just got home from work today and have found I have a rather embarrassing amount of book mail, so just wanted to share my unboxing with you.
So what we have here is the rest of the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan, which I've been working my way through. Now, I wouldn't have bought all of these in one go. I was going to just carry on buying 1 or 2 books as I'm reading them. But after a conversation on Twitter the other day, just a comment underneath somebody else having a picture of the full series, and I was saying how much I wanted to buy them all myself at some point and have that beautiful array of spines on my shelf. You'll see them shortly, they are very nice. I was reminded that there is going to be a TV series of The Wheel of Time coming out soon, which inevitably means a cover change in the publishing world, so the lovely editions that I'm collecting at the moment probably won't be around for very much longer, so I thought now is as good a time as any. Just buy them all. You've got to spend the money at some point, and you've got to find the room in your library at some point too, so may as well deal with the problem right now. So I now have the entire, I think it's 15 book series in my collection. So let's get unboxing. Always so difficult. Oh, for goodness sake. It is Saturday afternoon and it has been a delightfully wet, cosy, rainy day today. As you'll see from the b-roll earlier, we've had some torrential showers, but it has been just steadily wet the whole day. So I have been holed up in my room, wrapped in blankets, as you can see at the moment. I have my blanket here. I've had multiple hot drinks on the go. I'm actually in a jumper in August. This is not good. But it's all the cosy vibes that I needed very much on this first day off that I've had in a very long time. And I have spent an awful lot of the day reading. I've got through the majority today of The Last Protector by Andrew Taylor. I have now finished this book. I'd only read a few pages previously. And I really, really enjoyed it, I'm pleased to report. It was lovely being back in this world with these characters. The main duo, James Marwood and Kat Lovett, are both very interesting characters. They both have very complex pasts. They have parental-based judgments from the rest of society that they have to carry with them and overcome, and you have the little tastes of espionage and of kind of the underworld of London a little bit more in this 1600s setting. So a really good one. This one was and they're always political, but this one felt a little bit more political in its storyline because it's based around the return to England of Richard Cromwell, so the son of Oliver Cromwell, he of Civil War note. So you've got that kind of side to the story. And the characters have moved on a little bit in their positions in life as well. So we're looking kind of around that and how that
impacts the way that they can solve a mystery together. So a very good book, really enjoyable. Seemed a bit smaller than the previous ones, I think. How many pages was this? Yeah, just over 400 pages, so a little bit shorter, I think, than some of these have been. It amused me, actually. I've borrowed the next one after this from my friend the other day, and being a hardback, because it's a new release, it is about 3 times the size of this book. It looks ridiculous, but not too much longer, so that one hopefully will be on my TBR in the next couple of months. So, I don't know, in terms of reading, what I'm going to pick up tomorrow. I do next have Oathbringer to read, which I'm very excited to read, but I don't know whether to just finish off Charmcaster first and then only have one book on the go. I think the problem recently I've been having is I've been reading so many books at the same time, which is usually what I do, and I like doing it, but I felt like it's taken me so long to get through things. I've not felt as productive with the reading, even though I have actually read quite a lot of books this month, and some heavy ones at that. So I think perhaps I'll finish off Charmcaster today and into tomorrow if it needs it, and then maybe pick up Oathbringer either tomorrow night or just fresh on Monday. And I'll have the whole of next week then to read the 2 volumes of Oathbringer. And then it is actually Polathon next weekend. It is the mini Polathon round run by Jade at JD Ray Reads. And her normal Polathon is a winter week. I think it's usually a February. It's a week-long readathon. This one is just the 36 hours, so running throughout the entirety of next Saturday and half of Sunday. This will be a bit problematic for me because I do have work on the Saturday once again, and I actually have a tennis match on the Sunday afternoon, so I will want to not have a particularly late night and be reading all night if I then got to keep up some energy for that. So I think I'm probably just going to try and read a middle grade that weekend. I might pick up Frostheart because I've been meaning to read that for ages, so it does sort of fit with the polar vibes, so I might go for that, but stay tuned for next week's vlog and you will find out. So I think a little bit of Charmcaster this evening. I might go back to my colouring that I was doing the other day while I'm listening to it, as I can't go out for a walk because it's dreadfully rainy. And I will check in with you tomorrow to wrap up this video.
Hello, it is Sunday evening and I am finally wrapping up this rather long now vlog that has spanned over the past couple of weeks. It has actually been quite successful in the end in terms of reading, despite having a several day long slump in the first week and having to make this into a 2-week vlog. I have felt fairly happy with my progress in the last few days especially, and I'm satisfied with the amount of books that I have read. So just to recap, I started off at the beginning of the 2 weeks finishing off The Shadow Rising. Really enjoyed that one. A good banking progress in that series. Nothing particularly exciting. A couple of events that I was really interested in, but for the most part just a good solid continuation of that series, and one that I'm very excited to keep reading, as I now have the entire series as well. You saw my haul earlier in the week. So very happy to have finally finished that one and to be able to get started with the next one. I then, after my slump, read the entirety of The Eye of the Falcon by Michelle Paver, which was a really fun middle grade, just another series continuation again for me. 3 stars, nice solid read, happy to have got through that one, and was very much the thing to get me back on track with reading. I've also made some very good progress through the audiobook of Charmcaster by Sebastian de Castell, this one being the 3rd book in the Spellslinger series, which I'm loving. I'm really, really enjoying the audiobook. I think about 2/3, 3/4 of the way through. I'm making pretty good progress, so I hopefully can finish that one out this evening and let you know my final thoughts on that one at the start of next week's vlog, probably tomorrow. And then I have also finished the entirety of The Last Protector. I feel like I didn't talk about that one very much until I'd actually finished it. I read basically the majority of it on Saturday, but really liked that one. Also, another series continuation. I'm doing really well so far with carrying on with series this year. It was one of my main goals at the start of the year to try and continue or finish off as many series that I have on the go as possible, and have definitely done a lot of that in the past few weeks especially. So was very intrigued by the story of The Last Protector. Really nice to be back in that world and those characters, and to read something other than a fantasy as well was exactly what I needed, I think, for that little change of pace. So another really good one there. So thank you very much for watching. As always, I'm going to leave this vlog here. Give me a like down below if you enjoyed what you saw. Leave a comment about any of the books I've read or any thoughts you'd like to share with me. And as always, please consider subscribing, as it really means a lot. And I'd love you to come and join the little family and see more from me in the future. So thanks for watching. I will see you very soon in next week's vlog. Bye for now.